In March 2009, Virginia Beach hosted a public forum to discuss the gang problem in the city. During the meeting, FBI Special Agent Alex Turner provided some grim numbers. He stated that there were roughly 116 gangs throughout the 7 cities that claimed approximately 6,700 members. So have we made a dent in reducing the number of gangs and its members since last year? Here to tell us what local law enforcement is doing to crack down on gang activity are Detectives Corey Sales, Chris Carroll, and Ken Gavin. Thanks for joining us. Let's start by talking about good news. Let's start about talking about busts. There's been a lot of busts in gang activity in the past few months. Tell us more about some of these.
Some of the ones that we've done here recently in my city, in Portsmouth, we have just recently taken down 2 groups of the Bloods, one group called 9 Tech Gangsters and one group called the Bounty Hunter Bloods. These 2 groups were responsible for a large amount of our violent crime in Portsmouth, Chesapeake, and in the Suffolk areas. These 2 groups, we charged 8 members on the federal side in federal court, and we charged about 30 members on the state side. And out of the course of that, we've solved probably about 8 to 10 robberies, home invasions, assaults, murders. So that has had a pretty big impact. We're still in the process of prosecuting those individuals, but it has already had a big impact in our city for those.
You mentioned some of the gangs by name. What are some of the other gangs that are here in Hampton Roads? I mean, by name.
Well, we're seeing Bounty Hunter Bloods, BHB. We're seeing NTG, 9 Tech Grenades. We're seeing Crip sets such as 8-3G or 8-Tray Gangsters or 8-Tray Crips. We're also seeing other gangs, Bahalana, Latino gangs such as the Latin Kings and MS-13.
That's just a short part of the list, too.
Yes, it is.
That list alone seems pretty big. Yes, what distinguishes one gang from another?
They all have the commonality of criminal activity. It used to be that a gang formed for the sole purpose of protecting a community or protecting the residents within. Nowadays, it's more so a business. It's all about making money. What makes it different is one set may have a different book of knowledge or different beliefs, different set of rules, so to speak, while another set may believe something else. Other things that make it different are the colors worn. The representative colors, red, blue, yellow, black. They tailor it to their own set.
The way you describe gangs and the organization and the structure, it almost sounds like it's some kind of incorporated group. Gangs today are a lot different than gangs in the past. You mentioned that. Give me some other examples of how they're different today than in the past.
It's basically become cool to be a gang member now. And we're seeing kids that have a lot of life options. Their parents have money, they get the supported home that most gang members didn't used to get, and we're seeing those types of kids get involved in gang activity that they didn't used to get involved in.
We know gangs reach out to kids, we know that. What's the average age and what's the youngest age of a gang member that you've encountered?
In Portsmouth, our average gang member is between the ages of 9 and 19, and the youngest is about 7 that I've seen.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off that. About the same. The youngest gang member I've come in contact with was 8 years old. Same
here in our city. It's, for the most part, middle school, high school level. We are seeing some influence on the younger kids, elementary school, though, 8, 9 years old.
The kids that are like here on this show, in this studio today, are the ones that are being offered an opportunity by gangs. Why do gangs go after kids?
Gangs, 1, they're looking for numbers, okay? 2, a lot of these kids that are out here nowadays, in some senses, the mother or the father may be working full-time jobs. Both of them may be working full-time jobs. They may come from single-parent homes. They may be looking for a family, so to speak. They don't have much of a family input around, within their own household, so they're looking for that companionship. The gang recognizes this. They see it as an opportunity. They get a hold of these kids, and they welcome them in. The gang becomes the kid's family. The gang is there for the kid. They say, we're going to protect you. We're going to make sure that no harm comes to you. You're a part of a family now. You also, at that point, become part of a criminal entity. Yeah. With that said, you just keep committing those criminal acts until a time where you can get out of the gang, if you can.
Law enforcement does the best they can to combat gangs. What are some of the things that you do in your community to try to combat the gang activities?
I used to work in the schools as a school resource officer, so I spent a lot of time in the schools. I used to coach sports. I used to mentor a lot of kids to try to influence them on a different path.
Yeah.
Also, in Hampton Police Division, we did a lot of outreach as far as parents. We did a lot of gang forums to inform parents about the signs and symbols to look for. We didn't get, well, I could say that we did get a good response from a lot of parents coming out with the public, the media, and some of the cases that we're able to bring, so parents are more concerned with, and they were getting the information so they can start looking into their own homes and, as we say, policing your own children.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Well, this is a perspective that we've been looking forward to having from real detectives who face it head on. And these kids have a lot of questions for you. When we come back, we'll ask some of those questions. Many police departments in Hampton Roads, such as the Norfolk PD, have a speakers bureau where officers provide information on topics like crime prevention and gang awareness. Check out what resources your local law enforcement agency has to offer so you can protect your community from the threat of gangs. We'll be back with more Plugged In.